Hey, this is Orange County Executive Steve Neuhaus. This is our NeuCAST for June 2024. I'm here with Beth Wilson at the Warwick Drive In. This is like probably one of the most iconic places in Orange County. If you grew up in Orange County, you came here at some point, or you still come here to see some awesome movies outside. So Beth, great to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, no problem.
This is so cool. So we're just sort of folks watching. This is like the brain center of the drive-in movie. Right here, this is where the projection is. There's another projector over here. We're going to take some walks outside. So Beth, we were talking right before we came on here. This has been an establishment since the 50s?
Back in 1950, Charlie Finger had the theater. Back in 1977, he decided to retire, and my dad purchased it.
Was your dad a worker here before that, or he just wanted it?
He just wanted a drive-in movie theater. My dad was actually a windshield washer and a projectionist down in the Newton Theater.
Wonderful.
So he wanted to keep his drive-ins alive. And then my dad left in 1994, and my husband and I took it over. And here we are. It's a family-run business.
That's great.
My kids have all worked here. My sister works here. Her kids have all worked here.
What was prior to 1950 when the guy Charlie started it? Was it a farm? Was it a field?
It was a farm.
Wow.
It was part of the Miller farm.
So this is like a crazy, awesome business. You know, I just talked to a couple of restaurants on the way over here. They have this cross-pollination in the summertime with you because you got your seasonal, right? And they said people coming here to like, got to have dinner quick. I got to make it to the drive-in theater.
Then they go to their bed and breakfast afterwards.
It's great. So let's talk about this. So you grow up doing this because your dad's running this.
Right.
And you say, I like it, I want to do it too. So it's obviously a good business.
It's a good business. It's a fun business.
It's fun business.
You get to meet a lot of new people every day.
So you used to have the things that used to hook up into the car. Now, I don't even remember having that thing in the window anymore because it's always been on the radio.
It's on radio, FM radio.
But what kind of changes since your dad to now that stick out? That stick out.
Well, my dad had film. We no longer run on film. Everything's digital.
Right.
And
Digital means more complications or different?
it's different because if we are film, we could have spare parts laying around to get us back up and going. With digitally, we don't have the spare parts anymore. So we pray that we get on the screen every night and go from there.
And I mean, I've seen all sorts of crazy movies here. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan, so I've seen them here. I've seen all the Star Wars here, and then they re-release them. What are some of the ones that like stick out to you, like your favorite ones, or things that like people, the ones that drew the biggest crowds?
Biggest crowd I think was Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Back then, or
Back
the re-releases?
Back then.
Wow.
Yeah, we were sold out both shows, and we've never done that before.
I had my two sons are younger, and we watched it on Friday night as a family movie with them because they've never seen it before. So since we're heading into the 4th of July, and they like aliens and blah, blah, blah in the military. Tell me some any crazy things that have happened here or you know, that you could talk on the air. You know, we are talking about a drive-in theater, and it's fun, you know.
Oh, we've had in drive-in number 2 during the shows, one of the farms lost all their cows.
Oh, that's great.
And they came cruising through drive-in number 2.
Oh my gosh.
During the show.
So just kept cruising through, and they stopped to hang out and, you know, and interact with the crowds.
Yeah, there was some of the people were pretty scared because a lot of people come from the city. They've never seen a cow before. Oh,
gosh.
So that was an interesting one. We've had some gooses running around.
Wow. You still have people, I hate to say this, but this is like true confessions here, Beth, and we're safe. It's just us and all the viewers. People hiding out in trunks and everything, they still do that?
Yeah, every once in a while, but our security catches
They're
them.
good, yeah. You know, a lot of things we used to do is, if you have a pickup truck, which we do for the farm, you show up there and pile everybody in the back, pull in backwards and watch a movie that way.
Yep, with their blankets and their blow-up air mattress.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, you have the concession stand. You still have a lot of the nostalgic commercials from probably before your dad's time, right? They look like they're almost black and white time.
Yeah, they are. My childhood memory is being with a lot of people and people that we work with. But I remember the joy of seeing the people's faces when they come up to the snack bar, because I was only allowed to be in the snack bar. I was only 7. And, you know, throughout my childhood, I was always here. I didn't know any different. This was it, and I just fell in love with it, and here I am many, many years later.
So we talked about some of the movies. What other, like, did you ever have Independence Day? Did that take up all 3 of your, or all your screens?
No, it's just one
Just
drive-in.
a lot of people.
Yeah,
Okay.
One drive-in.
What's one that, like, what's the longest running movie that you had here?
Minions, the original Minions.
Okay.
Yeah, it started in July and went all the way till we closed at the end of October.
Wow, really? Okay. So that's got the Siskel and Ebert's 2 thumbs up with you guys here. And so when you draw people here, you know, when I go to different venues around the county, whether it be like Legoland or Woodbury Commons, the big ones that people think about, you see all different license plates from all over the place. What do you see here? Jersey, New York?
Jersey, New York, and Connecticut.
And Connecticut. Because you're a stone's throw away from the Jersey border here.
Right.
Awesome. The relationship with restaurants and other places, all pretty good for the most part?
Oh, yes.
Do people call you ahead of time like, hey, I got a crew of 12 people. They're just wrapping up at my restaurant. Do you have openings? Or
Well,
do you usually have...
If yesterday's called, he would get
John,
He'd get his 12 spots.
Yeah, he put in a good word for you on my way over here today. So do you have a lot of times where you sold out here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday nights.
So without a doubt, you should come here...
Early.
Half hour early?
No, I'd say by 7:30.
Okay.
So this way you can get a good spot, and get your snacks, and be ready to go.
Any other like crazy stories you have? Storms, shutdowns, all these things like that. Freak incidents. You said the cows. You said some geese.
Yeah.
Anything else?
We've had lightning hit our screens, which is pretty interesting. It just goes around and around and around.
Oh, really?
It's just not grounded.
Okay.
We've had some storms take us out. The big blackout in New York City.
Right.
That took everybody that
I
took
remember
us
that.
out.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of neat things. We've done a lot of different events here.
Since you've been in the business for a while, your dad's been in the business, you must have generations of people that worked for your dad that are now grandparents, or the guy before him. I don't know his name, but
Charlie.
Yeah.
We have a lady that still works for us who's 88 years old.
Wow.
She does all of our inventory and ordering.
There is not many drive-in theaters around America anymore.
No.
Is there? Do you know other ones? Do you cross-pollinate? Or at least talk like, hey,
Yes.
how are you staying? You do? Okay.
Yes.
Is it an association or just a loose group of people?
It's an association, but it's more of a less of a loose group. You know,
Okay.
who you get along with and who you don't.
Going forward, people that are used to this and love this because it's so iconic. Seriously, I remember growing up here as a little kid. My parents bringing me. I remember coming here with my high school buddies, and then as I got older, and then with my kids and everything like that, my family. What is the survivability of this going forward? Is it a good business?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But, you know, the property values is what puts the drive-in theaters out of business.
Yeah.
It's vacant land, 15 acres.
So people are knocking on your door all the time saying, you know, when are you ready to retire? Yeah.
Not yet.
One of the things that I talked about with the restaurant owners, one of them was John Christensen, was the difficulty during the pandemic. Remember, they couldn't open, takeout only, you can open on every other day, and all these crazy rules. You guys were under a lot of scrutiny in the beginning, and this is probably the safest thing to do.
Correct.
And as a matter of fact, we copied your layout here to do the air show.
Right.
Because we're like, look, there's nothing better than, back then, the social distancing, whatever it was, is to have people come in their car, stay in their car, and don't bother anybody, interact. But you had a tough time, too. We had to make that argument to have you open.
We had, it was what, about a month and a half we fought to get open. And I remember sitting on my couch that day when Governor Cuomo said drive-in theaters can open. And I just cried.
Wow.
I just, and that Friday we opened up. I mean, my crew was just amazing. And I said, we can open Friday if we want. And they're like, Beth, we'll get you open.
That's great. And I'm sure, I remember the first couple weeks you couldn't even get in here.
Right.
Even if you showed up a half hour early.
Right.
People were so excited to get out. So you've been in charge since the 90s. Has there been any other worse time, like difficult time for you here between like present time and the 90s besides the COVID one?
Believe it or not, last year was tough because of all the rain we had.
Okay.
That was a tough year, but we made it.
Because you have a very specific niche industry, like the ski centers. If the weather doesn't cooperate, you can
You're
have
done.
multiple years in a row, and it's been very challenging for them.
Yes.
Same thing with you. We had a really wet summer last year.
Yes. And that got us good, but we plugged along, and we're back here for another season.
Do you have a lot of? Is everybody just interaction individually, or do you do deals with like corporate deals? People come in, or camps and stuff like that, or is it mostly everybody comes in on their own?
We have deals. We've got Camp Warwick that comes
Yeah.
in. We've had some corporate bonding groups. We had a realtor bring all his clients in and showed a thing on the screen for them.
Okay. Oh, very cool.
So we've had graduations here.
You've had car shows. I remember you had.
Car
I
shows.
think you had the Warwick graduation here.
We had
or something, right?
Warwick. We had, I think, Goshen. We had a lot of them during
Back
COVID.
in the day, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
So-
only way they could graduate.
When you talk about these projectors here, is it one person running these two here, or is it you have to have multiple people watching?
No,
these
it's
things?
one person running all three of them.
All three of them. Okay. Is it a skilled art? Like you could teach you and I to do it, and
He probably could.
you probably could. Okay.
Yeah.
And the concession. So, what has changed such dramatically, in your opinion, since you took over the helm in '94? Just that it was
Pretty much just the buildings, this one here. and lower.
everything does. Nothing's like earth-shattering. It reminds me, it's same thing. Tiered parking. You make sure you keep your lights on if you're coming in late.
Yep.
You got to drive slow. Watch out. People are running all over the place.
Yep.
And respect each other. And then you get out of here. And
Yep.
you still do the double features.
Double features every night.
Which is great. What days of the week are you open?
Every day.
Every day.
Yep.
So if people want to come, what's the best way to go? What's your website?
www.warwickdrivein.com.
Okay. And the first show starts at 8 o'clock or
9 o'clock now.
9 o'clock. Okay.
It always goes with the sun we come
Sun,
to.
got it.
Our customers usually respond says, "Oh my God, I've never been here," because a lot of them come up from the city. And our repeat customers are always don't close. So when we open up, we know certain customers that are going to be your opening night, and we have our regulars that come in. I have Mrs. Queens that comes up from the Queens every weekend. We've got Mr. Connecticut, and they're so happy we're here for
Yeah.
them. And you see sometimes girls coming in tears. I'm like, "What's the matter? My boyfriend broke up with me. Please stay open so I can just cry and be by myself." I'm like, "Oh my goodness,"
Speaking, do you have people that come in here like disguising, like, "Hey, isn't that you, Bob?" And you're like, "No, no, no." Yeah, you do. I'm sure.
We've had some actors here, yes.
That's great. So, who's the most famous person you ever had here that you know of?
We've had Allison Sweeney here.
Okay. But they're regular citizens having a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
This is probably the safest place for anybody famous to go to,
Right.
right? Because you're in your car. You don't need to get out of the car if
Right.
you need to. That's great.
So they love it, and we're just here to bring that smile back on people's faces.
That's great. Awesome. Well, Beth, it's been great.
Nice to see
Thank
you.
you so much. Please check this place out. There's not many of these in America. Do you even know how many?
There's
Like
210 left
in America,
in America.
210 in the entire country.
Yep.
Amazing.
And we have
because-
one in Orange County.
Yeah, it's incredible. Wow. Yeah, I got to tell you, my kids are, love. They're bonkers in the car. Just when you pull up to the entranceway here and you get checked in, they're hyped up, ready to
Right.
go. Nobody ever says, "You want to go to a movie, drive-in theater," and says no.
Right.
They'll pile up in any car to get there.
Yep.
So if you want to keep this one as one of those 210, please check them out. Thank you.